She opens the tent, and they're already at the top of the world. The camp is pitched on a ledge so high that the clouds are below them. Not above. Sasha unzips the door and looks up and realizes the summit isn't even close. There's more mountain ahead of them than they've already climbed, and her face, rather than falling, lights up. She wants to keep going. Her husband Ice is less enthusiastic. He watches her try to clear the same rock face she's been fighting for the last hour, falling, recovering, climbing back, falling again, and when she tries for the third time, he doesn't even flinch. He's seen this before. He knows exactly what this is. She doesn't want to admit she can't do it. She never wants to admit that. Finally, she rests. He tells her, "You have a climbing partner. You know you're not supposed to be out here alone. The weather's turning. We set up here for the night, and tomorrow we go down." She doesn't want to hear it, but she agrees. That night in the tent, the storm picks up fast. Ice watches the rain turn to ice, and his unease gets louder than he can keep inside. He tells her what's been building for a long time. "I don't know how much longer I can do this. Every trip we push further than the last one. Every time it almost costs us everything. At some point the luck runs out." She tries to redirect him, talk him down. She says this is just how it always feels in the middle. That's the nature of climbing. That's what they signed up for. He says, "We agreed to go down tomorrow." "Fine, tomorrow." Except by tomorrow the storm is at full strength. The rational decision is to wait. They don't wait. They begin their descent in the middle of it. One step at a time, taking turns securing each other, never at the same level on the rope at once. Sasha goes first. She's almost down when she sees the problem. The rope has caught on rock above Ice's position. She calls up, "Wait, I'm not anchored yet." She's confident she knows the system. What she doesn't know is that falling ice has already loosened the anchor above him. By the time she realizes the rope won't clear, he's already moving. His head hits the mountainside. He goes limp. She calls his name. The rope begins to slip through her hands. She cannot hold it. She watches him fall. 5 months later, she is attending his memorial, a marker placed near where his body landed. Because what fell from that height wasn't something that could be recovered intact. She stands there quietly. Then she goes home, and then she starts packing for another camping trip. This time a forest. She stops at the ranger station to get her permit. The officer hands it over but tells her to be careful, and before she leaves, he asks her to look at the wall behind him. Missing persons, a dozen photographs, people who went into that forest and never came back. She looks at the photos. She takes the permit. She goes to the supermarket to gather supplies. That's where she meets 2 men. The first one is immediately and aggressively trying to get her attention, the kind of man who thinks persistence is a compliment. The second one is quieter. He notices what the first one is doing and keeps his disapproval on his face without saying it. When the first one tells her they know the forest better than anyone, they practically raised the trees there with their own hands, he says the second one stays back, watching. When he does speak, he's not trying to impress her. He just makes sure she knows she isn't alone. She cuts the conversation short. She doesn't need the help. Except she does. On the road, she can't get her compass oriented. She lowers the car window and calls after him which way to the forest reserve. He asks her 2 questions that seem like nonsense: easy road or hard road. She tells him the best road. He smiles briefly and gives her exact directions, then adds a shortcut that will put her right on the riverbank. Perfect camping, he says. She thanks him and drives off. In the middle of the road, she takes a rest stop. Her bag has pepper spray in it. She notes it without ceremony and sets it aside. A truck passes on the roof rack. Foxes freshly killed, pelts still on and behind the wheel. The man from the supermarket, the one who wouldn't leave her alone, his friends are in the back. They stop. And what starts as aggressive flirting becomes something that makes her lock her car door and grip the handle from inside. He bangs on the window, just being friendly. He says no big deal. She watches them in her rearview mirror as they drive away. They're skinning the fox on the side of the road. She sleeps in the car and waits them out. They leave. Morning comes clean and cool. She follows the river on foot, wading and swimming where the route demands it. And for a while it's exactly what she came here for: the water, the cold, the silence of the forest. She can't help herself the moment there's a rock face near the water's edge. She scales it, just to feel it under her hands. Then she finds the place. The exact spot where Ice's memorial marker was placed. She stands there for a long time, looking at his photograph. His body is still somewhere on this mountain. She wanted to bring him back from the place he didn't belong. She sets up her tent on the riverbank that night, just like the man suggested. Then she wakes up to the sound of a hawk. Close, too close. She freezes, then unzips the tent flap. Her bag is gone. She searches the riverbank, then retreats to the tent and finds something moving inside a snake. She backs away and continues along the river. She notices another camp nearby. She heads into the trees, looking for someone who can help. All her gear is gone. She finds a cabin, firewood stacked a fire burning. Someone is preparing a meal. He steps out of the trees and she realizes it's him, the quiet one from the supermarket. Bayan. Of course it's him. He'd given her the exact directions that led her here. She just hadn't understood what that meant yet. He greets her with a calm smile and explains the hawk, a particular animal in this part of the forest that communicates through a call almost indistinguishable from a human voice. He's met others like it, like Tarzan. He jokes. To ease the tension, he assures her she's safe and offers to split his extra supplies. He invites her to eat by the cabin. He cooks cured meat over the fire while they talk. She starts to relax. The food is good. The conversation flows. He asks about her love of adventure, and she tells him things she doesn't usually share, the way no ordinary person understands the pull of a mountain at 5 in the morning. He listens like he already knows. Then, mid-sentence, he makes an offhand comment about her husband Ice, something about how she must hate the sight of mountains now. Her face changes instantly. He backtracks, just a joke. He says, you don't strike me as someone who hates anything. She knows then that something is wrong, and to make that clear, to show him she isn't easy, she mentions the men from the supermarket. She tells Bayan, that's who took my bag. Probably they were trying to intimidate me. He nods along and then, casually, he says, no, you were calm the whole time. You just locked the door. You were completely composed. She stops. She looks at him. She says, how do you know what I did? His face changes, not all at once, just the small muscles making adjustments. Like a mask being repositioned, the warmth closes, something else comes through. She stands up to leave. He says, wait, there's something for you. He holds up a bracelet, her bracelet, the one Ice had given her, the one that was in her missing bag. She understands. He took her bag. He led her to this spot intentionally. He has been several moves ahead this entire time. He tells her with the tone of someone reviewing a performance, decent taste, not exceptional, but it works. Her eyes fill not with sadness but with fear, and she tells him, I'm going to leave now. He throws her bag outside the cabin and steps out after her with a bow, the kind designed for long-range accuracy. He puts on music from his phone. He says, go ahead, take the bag, I'll give you a head start. Let's feel the adventure you love so much. Easy road or hard road? You said best road. You chose this. She understands, finally, what his question had meant from the beginning. She grabs the bag and runs. She reaches the river and takes the kayak, paddling hard into the current while he dances on the bank to the music, completely at ease, completely in his element. The song ends. He moves. He moves through the trees like someone who grew up inside them, swinging, jumping, navigating the canopy with his body, the way she navigates a rock face with her hands. He is very fast and he knows where every path leads. Sasha paddles with everything she has, but the rocks and current work against her. She falls in. She surfaces near the bank. She hears the sound of a family talking nearby and runs toward it. She finds a video playing on an abandoned phone. The family in it is waving at Bayan. He'd already found them. The phone was placed here specifically for her to lower her guard. An arrow hits her from the trees. He knows every hiding place in this forest. He proves it by targeting different parts of her body as she runs, keeping her moving, bleeding, afraid but alive. He wants her afraid and alive. She goes over a waterfall. The current is brutal. She barely controls the descent. She crawls onto the bank and breathes. She checks the bag. Pepper spray still there. She runs. She finds a cave in the mountain face and climbs. It's narrow enough to require full extension, arms out, body flat against the rock, and she climbs until she reaches the top and looks out at a view that tells her nothing. Trees, rocks, more mountain lost. She pulls out a field lens and scans the valley in the distance, a kayak on the river. If she can reach it before he finds her, she might get past his reign. She hears his call, the same sound as the hawk, the same one that woke her this morning. Birds scatter from every tree. She ducks behind a rock. She looks through the lens. His eye is already looking back at her. He smiles. She climbs back into the cave and goes completely still. He arrives at the entrance, looks down, shouts in his particular way, testing whether she'll flinch and fall. She flinches, she holds. He leaves. She waits until the sound of him fades, then she slides into the river, moving through it low and flat until she reaches the kayak and begins working the rope. An arrow goes through her leg. The trap snaps shut around her ankle. He's in the water beside her in seconds. She sprays the pepper spray directly into his face. He puts his head in the water, lifts it back out, and blinks at her with red, streaming eyes. Unbothered, genuinely unbothered. He tells her, "Give me the spray, I release the trap." She hands it over. He frees her ankle. He reaches into a bag and offers her fruit, calm as a man having lunch. He ties her to a post for the night. Rain comes down hard. He watches from the cabin. His eyes are red from the spray, and he doesn't care even slightly. In the morning, he drags her on the kayak while lecturing her about tribal customs, how certain communities filed their teeth to points. Because the pain was part of becoming an adult, he speaks with the enthusiasm and detail of someone describing personal experience. He tells her he knows her name. He got it from the permit register. She tells him not to use it. It reminds her of her husband. He asks what ice was like when he fell. He says it anyway. He must have looked like he was flying. She doesn't answer. She looks at him with something between contempt and pity and begins, with great patience, to look for the end of the rope that binds her. He notices. He tips her off the kayak and drags her through the current by the rope, her body scraping across underwater rocks as he walks calmly upstream. He brings her to a cave between the cliffs. Inside, mummified bodies, preserved, positioned, arranged with care. She understands this is where she was always meant to end up. He grabs her wrists. She tries to reach him, not as strategy, just as one person trying to find the remaining human in another. She says, "I think people hurt you, terrible things happen to you, and I'm sorry for that." He removes his dentures. Beneath them, his real teeth filed to points sharp as the story he told her about the tribes. He takes her hand and runs her fingers across them. She asks him to stop. He disappears, literally turns, and is gone before she finishes the sentence. She calls out, looks everywhere. He drops on her from above and pins her to the cave wall. He shows her the photograph, a woman. She says, "Your mother." He says, "Do you want to know the last thing she said to me?" She told him, "Love Gino, Gino loves." He says his mother never left him, still with him now. All these years later, he shows Sasha what that means by gesturing at the room around them. She is going to stay with him too, the way his mother did. The mummification is reserved for the ones who fought back. The ones who gave up are just remains. She, like his mother, will be preserved. Sasha bites through his ear with her teeth. She bites down and does not let go until he collapses from the pain, and when he drops, the pulley rigging releases and she falls to the cave floor. She runs. He follows. Both of them hit the river and the waterfall takes them through the rocks until they separate. He hits his head. He goes under. She tries to free herself from the rope still connecting them. She can't. She finds a rock, pins his body under it, and breaks the rope's clasp against the stone. He wakes up. 7 lives, this man. They fight on the riverbank, him without a working leg. Her with injuries in places. She stopped counting. He grabs her throat. His grip closes. He releases her. Something small remaining in him. She doesn't try to understand it. She picks up the rock and breaks his leg at the fracture line, and he goes down screaming, and he stays down. They lie in the same river for a while, neither of them moving. Then she begins to hallucinate. Her mind floats to ice. Over and over she hears his voice. She says things to the empty riverbank that don't connect, except through grief, all of it circling the same fact. He told her to stop. She didn't. She watched him fall. She held the rope, and it left her hands anyway, and there was nothing she could do about it, and she has never stopped holding that. Morning comes. She sees the mountain across the valley on the other side of the ridge, the way out behind them. 12 days on foot with no supplies, no real choice. Bayen is still alive, barely. She makes the offer straight. I free you, and we tie the climbing ropes together. I help you up, and we both get out, or your wound goes septic. And that's if you live long enough for that. He points a blade at her face. She looks at him 2 seconds, then release my hands, or answer to God for your time, hear your call. He frees her. He ties the main rope through his harness and connects her with a secondary line so he stays in control. He warns her, try to leave him at the top. He cuts the rope and takes her with him. She climbs one placement at a time. He manages the slack from below, watching her hands at every anchor once. He thinks she's adjusting the carabiner to slip free. She is, and she stops when he catches it. She steps directly onto his wound and tells him she was just fixing the cable. They reach a rest point. He still can't stop himself. He asks, what did it look like when ice fell? Was it like flying? She secures his rope to an anchor, climbs higher, and ties his personal line around a branch growing out of the rock face so that if he tries to pull her down with the main rope, he'll only cut the line connecting them, not the one holding him to the mountain. Then she cuts the connection. He falls. His head finds a rock. She is still climbing. No anchor, no partner, just her hands and the mountain, and the last section the same grade roughly. As the face that killed ice, her legs slip periodically. She pulls herself back. She talks to herself in short sentences that are not really sentences, just reminders that she is still here. She reaches the top. She sits on the summit and does not move for a very long time. She came here for ice. She came here because going forward felt impossible without going back first. She didn't find what she was looking for. But she found the cave. She found what Bayan had done to those people, and their names are on that wall at the ranger station, and their families have been living with nothing. She starts walking. By the time darkness covers the forest, she is running on river water and the last of her strength, and then headlights an engine, a family on a forest road. They take her to the ranger station. The first thing she says before she asks for water or a phone or medical attention, I know where they are, all of them, every missing person on that wall. Helicopters go in at first light. Some bodies are mummified, some are in the early stages of decay, some are almost entirely gone, but every family gets an answer. Every missing person gets a name on a record instead of a photograph on a wall. Sasha stands on the riverbank afterward, recovered enough to stand straight, and she feels the difference between what she set out to do and what she actually did. She came here for ice. She stayed for everyone else. And then from deep in the trees, she hears the hawk again. She doesn't even tense, she just turns her head toward the sound, and the ghost of a smile crosses her face. That one is a real bird, she thinks. Probably. If this one stayed with you, you already know what to do.